Every day is my greatest struggle.
My greatest struggle? Probably haven't learned how to walk again. I learned how to walk again about 2 years ago from a sports injury. And now I've healed from that, and now I'm playing the same sport in college.
How long did it take you to learn the walk?
3 months.
My greatest struggle. Oh, that is a very difficult question. Oh my God. That is very difficult. Greatest struggle. I guess acceptance. I don't want to say socially awkward, but because I'm very outgoing, I don't mind talking to people, but it's hard for me to make friends, if that makes sense. I love expressing myself, but I'm always afraid of what people think of me. I want to be accepted by everyone. I want to be loved by everyone. Or not loved, but I want everyone to like me for some reason. Very hypocritical thing of me to say. Like, I don't like it when people don't like me, but yet then I can go and talk about someone behind their back and say, well, you know, I don't like that person. But it's very hypocritical of me. But it's what I struggle with is being accepted. I'm always wanting to be accepted by everyone. And if someone has a problem with me, I'm usually like, well, why does that person have a problem with me? And I spend a lot of time figuring it out. And it's worthless to do that. I need to move on. And what people think is what people think. I shouldn't worry about that. But that right there is a big, big struggle of mine.
Probably compare myself to other people and not stand in my own path and just trying to remember that the Lord has a path for me and only, so I should just stay in that route and just not let comparison from other people try to affect me at all.
I'd probably say realizing what's most important in my life, like putting that first and not doing the things that I want to do and kind of pushing it off to the side, but making sure what is most important that I keep, focused on.
Yeah, I'd agree with him. Comparison trap and also confidence, just getting ready to go out and actually do something and putting my mind to actually doing it. So this is really bold what you're doing right here, brother.
My greatest struggle is probably comparing myself to other people, other people who may be like smarter than me or look better than me, just comparing myself, and I have to I just have to get out of that rut,
Anxiety. I've had it in the past where I've had anxiety and I've had to take medication for it to make myself better. This was about a year to 18 months ago. Sometimes I'll still wake up in the morning and have that feeling of being anxious about doing stuff. But since I've been traveling, I've had the odd 1 or 2 day where I've felt that little bit like anxious, but I just feel like getting the right mindset, getting yourself around it and knowing that you can do better things and make yourself feel better, that's the only way to get around it, I think. That's my weakness, being anxious sometimes, still, yeah.
Greatest struggle, not to say commitment, but easily distracted and getting off task and not following through with what I want to be doing, yeah.
My greatest struggle is that life is not about me, so I have to accept it. I'm only kidding. My greatest struggle is that I'm a people pleaser and I try too hard to please other people. That's my biggest challenge in my life.
That's the opposite of what you've been kind of saying.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you gotta get deep and honest. No, No, I'm not lying.
This.
Two
of them. Dose.
2 open hearts.
Yeah, it's thrown a lot of fun. I was born with it. It's thrown some fun monkey wrenches in there. Hey, Valentine's Day is coming up. If anyone's pregnant, get a fetal echocardiogram. It's not standard at most hospitals, but very helpful, and you can get preventative medicine a lot earlier. You don't want it to come out blue and then be panicking and then going from there.
I'm not going to follow that up. We'll leave it there.
I think sort of being alive during a time where climate change and global disasters sort of common now, and trying your best to do your part in trying to stop it, but also realizing that only one person isn't going to change everything. I guess that would probably be it.
Dealing with the current situation, both medically and politically.
Social problems for me, like other opinions on you whenever it's put you down on something, or have like some precautions against you even though they never get to know you.
I would say maybe my self-confidence, that's not that strong. Yeah, thinking about myself often and do not think that I'm so good. And then other people told me that I'm good, and yeah.
Right now, school. Kind of doing everything at once, like needing to get a job in school and just everything like that.
I don't know, that's kind of hard. I guess like for me, so I just finished like getting my bachelor's degree, and now I'm in massage therapy school, and like not this fall but next fall I'll be starting PTA school. But for me, it's like I always thought like, and still do, like I'm not like very bright, like not very smart. Like I'm very good with like working on stuff and like hands-on stuff. Like I always doubted myself in terms of like, you know, like I'm not meant for like education and stuff like that. But it's like every day I kind of realize like I'm getting, you know, more confident in that, but still like a struggle where in myself I'm just like, no, I'm not smart enough to do this. Like I can't do this and stuff like that. So, but like working on it, but that's like my struggle.
I'm fortunate in life not to struggle much in many ways, but personal ways for sure. I would say, I guess, a similar issue being a woman in STEM. There's a lot of confidence issues, and like I always kind of assume when I meet somebody that they know something or can do something I can't do, and just kind of, instead of being intimidated by that, embracing it and realizing I can learn from that person is a huge thing.
Doing things on time.
Fear of being normal as far as a competitor. I'd have to say it's more of an internal battle, but I think we all as people, we kind of relate on that subject together, man. Fear of failure. It's an internal struggle that we all kind of battle, man, and you know, you wake up the next day and you do the best you can do, man. Be the best person you can be and fuck shit up.
Figuring out what I want to do.
Did you overcome that?
No.
Have no idea what you want to do?
Nope.
I would say the thing I run into the most is stubbornness, which can be beneficial in terms of like sticking with something or like seeing something through. But at the same time, sometimes I don't know when to give up or when to move on and come back to something. So that kind of bites me in the butt sometimes. Yeah, it's kind of a pro and a con for me.
I'd probably say indecisiveness. I'm now one semester left before graduating, and I kind of get to that like panic mode where I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? And like I that falls into other decisions as well. Even like buying stuff off of Amazon, like something simple. Like I'll sit there and do 3 days of research on a product that costs like $10, and sometimes I think that can get in my way of just like I need to just kind of like say screw it, I'm gonna do this, and kind of go full force into it.
Greatest struggle, it might be my anxiety, because it kind of just restricts me socially, and it just kind of puts limitations on what I can do. And yeah, I just I'm not a big fan of the anxiety.
This is like really deep. I mean, I'm not really struggling right now. I would say figuring out what to eat every day. I'm dead. Is our struggle. Getting through school pretty much right now. Same.
I mean, this semester, I'd say being more open with people. I tend to keep a lot inside, but in some ways it's easier being open now because I know that though you're a stranger, I might never see you again, I can be pretty free about being open. So I'd say that's probably my biggest struggle.
Greatest struggle. I miss people a lot, so I think that's a struggle. You can never win with that because you can't always be with people you love. I always like to be close to them, but it's not always possible. That's a struggle sometimes, that I feel sad about it.
Maybe figuring out where to go in life. Right now, when I have to look for universities and stuff, that's really a struggle for me to find my way. And also the responsibility to myself to find something that I can do for the rest of my life. That's something I struggle with right now. I'm like between high school and university, and now basically I can do anything. First of all, like doing the research to find out what to do is already a real struggle, and then deciding what to do is an even bigger struggle. Too many options in this world, like what they have with Netflix, for example, where you have too many options, and then at the end of the day,
you end up doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What is my greatest struggle? You know, staying focused. You know, I have ADHD. You know, a lot of people do. 21st century, millennials, Gen Zs. I think everyone can relate to that. And just, I'd say having ADHD, you got to focus. Just trying to find ways and vices to, help yourself find that focus and set goals. And like I said, I know I've said a lot about setting goals, but it's very important to set goals. And, if you can, compartmentalize and do those things, I think you'd be very successful. Having ADHD is definitely a struggle, but, I'm definitely trying to use it and actually turn it into a superpower. You know what I mean? Like, I think being able to do several things at one time and, do those types of things can really make you more successful in the long run. So,
greatest struggle?
feeling like I belong socially. That would be the biggest reason why I would leave this city. I've been here for a little over 3.5 years, and I don't think I'll ever have a long-term life here. I mean, again, I think I'm doing pretty well professionally and financially here, but compared to many other people who are in the city, or a substantial proportion of people who are in the city, I don't really feel like I belong. And that's something that I've kind of struggled with for much of my life, whether that's moving somewhere else, which, I mean, I'm not originally from here, but maybe finding another place, or maybe I haven't found the right kind of people yet, but that's what I would say.
My greatest struggle. I would say that my greatest worldly struggle is certainly finances, but I think that my greatest personal struggle is always trying to live up to be the man that I want to be and act the way that I think that I should.
My mental health, because I don't know how to help myself and other people don't either. I mean, I've been very depressed since middle school, and because of COVID and stuff, things got worse, so I'm still trying to work on that.
I guess the path that I'm trying to be on to become the person that I want to be in life. So, yeah.
What are you struggling with that?
Just getting in a better position financially, I guess, mentally, and stuff like that.
Probably trying to find time to balance everything, like work and then school life too.
My greatest struggle is, wow, that's a hell of a question. I don't mean to cuss, but yeah, just some things in life just be struggles. I stay motivated. Yeah, stay motivated. That's my biggest struggle. Yeah, any task I do, once I get to doing it, if I get tired of it, I'll just stop doing it. Yeah, so I say that's about it.
Somebody else go first.
My own mind.
I wasn't gonna say it, but my internal monologue, I think.
My own self, yeah. I feel like I'm battling myself a lot, but I think that helps me interact better with other people. So overall could be a good thing to be determined on whether that struggle is good or bad, it's pure evil or pure good. Oh, it helps you interact with other people.
Yeah, because you're like more empathetic. Like, 'cause if you're so hard on yourself, then you know how it feels when someone is mean to you, and you're like, oh, I don't want to be. Can I curse? I don't want to be a dick to other people. Like, because I'm a dick to myself all the time. Like, I don't know if you agree with that, but
agree with that.
if that's what you were saying.
Basically
But
took the words out of my mouth. Yeah. It's an empathy thing. You know that somebody else is going through something just because you're going through something.
And everybody is.
Everybody is.
Like, to some extent.
Yeah, I think it's, kind of along the same lines, like, struggle with oneself is always a weird break point. For me, it's usually like trying to fill a pair of shoes that, like, honestly I've constructed, which is really obnoxious, right? Because, like, you're always going to make those shoes bigger and heavier than they really need to be, which, like, kind of makes it a never-ending struggle. For me, like, kind of graduating college and trying to figure out where my life wanted to go. I spent a lot of time, like, thinking about the shoes that I felt like my father had set, being, having a lot of success in his life. So kind of struggled looking at that pair of shoes and being like, shit, I really want to, at least come close to filling those. He suffered that same thing with his dad, who he feels like he never made proud of before his dad passed away, right? And of course, like, he did 1,000 things more and better than his father ever had, but you build this set of shoes to fill, not actually based on any reality. And so I think a lot of struggle I've had personally has been, like, readjusting what those shoes look like, to something that's, like, rationally built and doable, and not, not built on, like, impossible to reach, like, N+1. Yeah.
I think my greatest struggle is I tend to internalize a lot of things and then usually go down a rabbit hole of, like, thoughts. Say if something goes wrong, I'm like, oh, why did it go wrong? It's like, oh, it could be this, it could be that, and then I just kind of fall down a rabbit hole of my own thoughts, and then it's totally way, way deeper than anything actually is. So definitely just, like, internalizing things and falling down the rabbit hole of my own thoughts sometimes. Sometimes it's just like figuring out maybe why that person did it, or kind of figuring out the other person, like what's going on in their brain. And compared to mine, kind of seeing it, okay, what did they do? How do I see that? But sometimes it is internalizing myself, like, oh, I could have done this differently. Maybe that would have changed the outcome, but you can't really change what happened, so you shouldn't really dwell on it for too long.
My biggest struggle that I've been, honest, I would say like probably like the past 2.5 years or so, is just writing down like my ideas or thoughts to be able to continue to work on them or progress on those ideals or just whatever thoughts I was having. Because a lot of times, you know, walking through a park or something, you see something and you're like, oh, okay, well that, you know, that reminds me of this algorithm or this, you know, this thing in science, like, and then you have like, you know, say like an aha moment, right? Or just something like that, you know, it might be meaningful to you, but it's not meaningful to the world unless you like actually work on it, actually turn it into something that is easily communicated. And I think that's like the hardest part for me. So like in my own ideal, like the way that I see the world and the way that I think about the world is very simplified in some scientifically based theories. It helps me have a better understanding of like morality and also just the way that the world operates or like the universe operates, but actually turning these abstract ideas into like a mathematical formula or a model is like really hard. So the start of that is literally just writing on paper, and that part's even hard. So hopefully I can like actually progress on that, just like figuring out how to like communicate the abstract ideas that I have when I like, you know, experience things, put that onto paper, and then make it easy to communicate to people. It's just all a big struggle right now. Like the philosophy of science, so there's, I mean, create a model and then make and experimentally test that model, but usually the deeper you dive into it, there's like a emergent property of a bigger model. What's the baseline algorithm or the set of baseline algorithms that like control the universe or just like some system. And I have some ideas for how to like actually go through and predict it with some level of certainty, but like it's a big journey to like actually turn into something that's universal or applies to many systems basically. So it's all hard, but.